I think there's a really razor thin line between what's considered hard work and stupid work. People that are supposedly at ease and in comfort at each moment, I think have the type of success that I'm actually looking to emulate. And I could probably say confidently that that's what many of us actually want as well. Just as an exercise, relax right now. Think about it. Where are you right now? Where am I? Where is the tension in my head? What am I striving for? And you see that the goal that you're striving for is always in the horizon, but never actually here. The horizon is always moving. So why contract for it? This is different from give no attitude, but it also is not. This is different from not caring at all, but it's also not. There's beauty and charm to being beyond results, but also deeply caring about the process. Man, I beat myself up a lot this year, constantly messing up stuff, losing money, procrastinating, getting worse at my hobbies, losing my job twice, still haven't learned Chinese, still haven't touched the guitar that my friend gave me to practice, even though I want to. Thoughts of those failures always pop into my head. Yet every single second is an opportunity for a new beginning, which is such a terrifying yet beautiful thought. Perhaps we should never say our goals out loud or what we're gonna do out loud, because and I'm putting the possibility that the world will know of my failure. But the truth is, I don't think it matters at all that you failed. None of it actually really, truly makes a difference, does it? So does it really matter if you try hard? But what's the point of trying hard really when we have the option of taking it with ease? There's a force inside of me, as I'm sure there is in a lot of other people, that wants to truly separate and distance ourselves from others, like be beyond them in some manner. I sometimes hate being told what to do, but this is actually a major part of what it means to be connected with others and being. In many ways, it means we have to learn to compromise our identity. And this seemingly competing force of wanting to distance ourselves and compete to isolate versus wanting to be together is always kind of dancing around each other in my head. Yet even the strongest, most powerful, richest, whatever person probably want others to understand them. And just like I would like, they probably also want to be loved in some manner. Like for example, I want to be seen as someone that's reliable, trustworthy, suave, goated, someone that could see things for as it is. But yet at the opposite end of it, being trustworthy means you have to have other people around you. And it means other people have to feel comfortable making fun of you in some manner. For you to be relied upon, it means you have to be open to feedback from others. Sometimes they may be wrong, but being connected to others means that we have to listen just in case they are right. Just like they help me, it also means that people might go to me for support and for crash outs, which is fine. So if this is the case, even if you're a super competitive person that has a win at all cost mentality, you can never complain about not having boundaries because you're connected to others either way. After all, being around each other is the only way we could test each other as well. So in this way, the best I could do is care, also not give a shit about the results at all at the same time. That being said, I do want sincerity in artistry. I feel like the type of people that I'm drawn to are naturally good at this. There are people that left it all behind but are still within the bounds of society, not swinging one way or the other for too long, seeing the boundless and our limits at the same time. They found a place or role that they could play without being consumed by it. They have a sense of authenticity, yes, but they're also aware of how others view them. They can start over at any moment while still being connected with others. That is the goal, I think. That type of goal is not achieved through force. And you may be thinking to yourself that you're not ready for something like that, but you just want to win and be okay at life in some manner. But no matter how much I try to fight this, I've never felt ready for anything. And I think that's because I need to continuously learn how to rapidly move on from stuff. It's not that serious that you lost or you failed. For example, what do I want to do that I don't feel ready for right now? Learn Chinese, play guitar, read hard books, choreo more, upload more, exercise creativity. These are actually things in my life that I could get done, and I don't think I need to wait around for it to happen. Yet there's a natural friction in my head preventing me from doing it. And why is that? In fact, the more I think about it, there's so many other things in the world that I also want to play with. I want to do some woodworking, cook more for others, bake better stuff. It'd be fun to play games once in a while with your old friends. I want to experiment with lots and lots of random moves, floor works, artwork, crocheting, traveling, I don't know. The list goes on and on and on. I'm sure a lot of us have these desires. Some of this is certainly held back by financial means and because of work or whatever. Most of it is just our mind and our belief though. You are ready for all of this. All of us are. Mainly because each learned task, no matter how different it seems, is 100% connected to the next one. Like the goals that I stated seem so differing from each other, but they're not. Everything is related. What that means is that all of us, not just me, are always ready to do something completely brand new, no matter how seemingly impossible out of the way it seems. The possibilities are actually endless. In fact, I do think the harder the challenge that we take on, the more this realization can come to fruition. This realization of being a true Renaissance learner, completely at ease, completely capable of doing everything we ever want to without ever being disconnected from others. That seems like a possibility. For example, for me in my life, the hardest challenge that would probably solve most of my problems are probably financial. How can I sort through this? I ask myself this question over and over again. What I do know is that when I do sort through it, it will certainly help me achieve other goals as well, not just because of the actual raw power of having money, but because I've learned to solve a specific problem in my life. And when we go from this beginner's mindset, this ability to start over at any point, there's something completely mystical that kind of starts to arrive. For example, in my headspace right now, as I'm talking, I actually don't feel scared about anything. I know I could handle the fear that will inevitably arise, the failure that I'm certain to have tomorrow, have to overcome in some manner. I feel invincible in some sense in understanding this, but it's also totally chill if I forget it. Even the confidence and hope core that I'm aspiring for in this video, maybe I inspired you in some sense. It's fragile. It's completely fragile. Yet, understanding its impermanence brings about something that's fully limitless. It's something more truer than true. Yes, I know I could easily be tested and be made useless in an instant. I can't juggle and I'll look like a fool if I try. But if I do, so what? There was a time I thought a naive attitude like this probably made it difficult for me to relate to others and for others to relate to me. They might even think of me as an oaf, or they might think of me as someone that's too smug, too overly confident. I don't know. I think it actually helps me care about others in a more deeper way. It makes the unconscious suffering that we all take in so much easier to relate to, I feel like. Because in some sense, we're clearly all aspiring for the same ideas, but we're just lost in similar manners all the time. So in the end, I ask, like, what goals, what achievements? Nothing. None of it matters. I'm just here and we're all just here. We just move forward a little bit at a time. Eventually you'll find that when we learn to open our field of horizon, we're coming from a different space altogether. The greatest creators like Michael Jackson or like Inoue or Prince or whatever, they all just make stuff and something kind of takes over. It's not simply just about us. It's about the spirit that kind of brings us all together in some sense. Again, not talking about anything religious. All of us are bound by these principles of change that are all surrounding us. What this means is that the next person that you talk to, whether they look like they need a lot of help and therapy, can be the vehicle of the greatest change we've ever seen. How can I treat others like it's a fresh start for them whenever they want? How can I treat others like they're capable of the same exact redemptive arc? Well, I think that all the answers are answered by living it ourselves. So for that reason, living by these principles and understanding it as it is makes it a lot easier to relate to others, whether or not we fail or whether or not they fail. In the end though, whatever esoteric words that I use, I really don't mean anything by it. They're just ways to point something to you and to myself. All the fancy motivational spiritual jargon is really just jargon in the end of the day. What it all boils down to is this: find something challenging and fun to do. Care a lot for those around you and let them care for you. Eat up, rest up. In the end, everything just boils down to having those as results, in my opinion.